Good morning, my people, my people, my people. My name is Alan Palmerson, Vision of Grenadine's Spirit of Most Hated Son. Before I started, there were two people online. People, today we are going to speak about the things of the Most High on this holy and blessed Sabbath day. In the background, we hear the man age as usual. People, I'm taking some time to invite some friends to listen to this live broadcast as we go live on Facebook. Today's topic, the curse is broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? The curse is broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? With the breaking of the curse, there are many conditions that we should adhere to. But in the meanwhile, I invite some friends to listen to this video. I am taking the time to invite a few friends to listen. So people, listen to the man age. When we pray, when we pray, he acknowledges his existence as God and King. Don't stop praying. That's the man age. A mighty song that is. Okay, my people, let us get down to business. My name is Alan Palmer. Happy Sabbath to everyone. I think let me see who's here with me. Nobel Bradford. Happy Sabbath, my brother. Sabbath Shalom. Nice people. Today, if you're going to look for social issues, by now you should know that Saturday and Wednesday is when we speak of only the Most High. People, if you're going to hang out with me for the next couple of minutes, I want you to share this video, share it on a page, share it in a room, share it in a group, and when you share it, tag someone in it. Today, our topic is, the curse has been broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? Oh great supreme and sovereign Most High, as I come to you to speak to your people on this blessed Sabbath day, Most High, I ask that you will clear my mind and put only those things that you have placed upon my heart on my lips. If I cause any confusion to anyone who is listening to this broadcast, Most High, I ask that you will send your Holy Spirit and let your Holy Spirit lend clarity where I would have lent confusion. In Yahweh's name, I say, let it be done. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I see Kenneth John, nice to have you. I see my good brother, Andre Jacob Ben Israel. Good morning, my brother. Nice to have you. I think I see new life given, right? But in the meanwhile, today our topic is the curse has been broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? Some people may be saying in their minds, Alan, why are you dwelling on this curse broken, and this broken curse, and this broken curse? For the past 2 weeks, 4 messages, you're dealing with this broken curse, people. The breaking of the curse is significant in the history of the Israelites. The breaking of the curse is significant in the history of the children of the transatlantic slave trade. If we do not understand the prophecy of the breaking of the curse, we will be in great trouble, and our descendants will be in great trouble. Everything that is happening around us today, from the pandemic to the legislature and the people who they appoint as judges in the high courts all over the world, have to do with the breaking of the curse. Right? So don't get weary. Try to understand where I am coming from. It is important, it's significant. The scripture reading is coming to you again from Genesis chapter 15, 13, 14, and 16. Let us read it again. Let me give you the background. Abraham had amassed a lot of wealth. He did not have anyone to whom he must leave his wealth to. This was a problem. He had a servant called Eliezer. Eliezer was his heir, but Eliezer was not his seed. Abraham went to the Most High, and says, Most High, you have blessed me tremendously, but whom am I going to leave this wealth to? The Most High said, don't worry, Abraham, I am going to give you a seed, someone who you can leave your wealth to. As a matter of fact, look up into the skies, and I am sure that the Most High brought down the ceiling of the heaven so that Abraham could get a good view of every star in the sky. And he says, Abraham, can you number the stars in the skies? If you can number the stars of the skies, then your seeds will be as the stars of the skies. Abraham could not number the stars of the skies. The Most High said, if you can look at the seashore, if you can number the sands on the seashore, that is how much I am going to multiply your seed. Right? But now we have some bad news for Abraham. And the bad news started in Genesis chapter 15, 13. Then he says, Abraham, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs. And will serve them, and they will afflict them for 400 years. And also the nation who they serve, I will judge. Afterwards, they shall come out with great possession. 16. But in the 4th generation shall they return here, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet completed. People, it is significant that we pay attention to this prophecy. As I told you before, that this is the short version of the prophecy that the Most High gave to Abraham. That is all the Most High wanted Abraham to know about what was going to happen to his descendants, that he came and pleaded to the Most High for. But if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 to 68, you are going to see the elaboration of the prophecy that the Most High gave to Abraham in Genesis chapter 15, 13, 14, and 16. You are going to see the elaboration of that prophecy. Now, people, the question we are here to answer: are you going to be obedient to the Most High? And some people may be confused about, what do I mean if you are going to be obedient to the Most High? A part of this prophecy was also answered in Obadiah, in the book of Obadiah, right? And this is what I'm getting to. A part of this prophecy was answered in the book of Obadiah. Obadiah has one chapter. It is the only book that was dedicated to deal with the Israelites' fiercest, greatest enemy, the Edomites. And as we have learned from previous study, the Edomites are the Caucasians, right? Let us read Obadiah chapter 1, verse 11. And hear what that says. In the day, and the Most High is telling the Edomites what they should not have done. Why he is going to give them the ultimate punishment that he have prophesied will come upon them. In the day that you stood on the other side, and in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, speaking about Israel, when foreigners enter his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even you were one of them. Right? Even you were one of them. And let us go down to 15. And 15 is where the question is going to be answered. For the day of the Lord upon all the nation is near. As you have done, it shall be done to you. Your reprisal shall be returned upon your own head. As you have done, it shall be done to you. Your reprisal shall be on your own head. People, this is not my words. This is the Most High words to the Edomites. This is the Most High words, about the Edomites. This is the Most High words to the Israelites about the Edomites. The Most High says, as they have done, it shall be done to them. Hello, Evelyn Lawrence. Nice to see you. Right? As they have done to you, it shall be done to them. So the question we must answer here, are you going to be obedient to the Most High? Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? Lest you forget, let me remind you, lest you forget, let me remind you of your obligation as it relates to this text. Let me remind you as to your obligation as an Israelite as it relates to this text. As you have done, so it shall be returned to you. The reprisal shall be on your own heads. That is what the Most High is saying to the Israelites for us to consider. For those who have taken advantage of us, for those who enter into our land with our enemies and enslave us, as you have done, so shall it be done to you. As people, it is important that we come to an understanding of what the Most High is saying here. The Edomites is already affecting my ability to read. But don't worry about that. They took us from our homeland. They bring us away from our culture. They bring us away from our language. They bring us away from everything that we knew, understand, and love. And they brought us to a place where we did not even know the language. Some people were kidnapped. Some people were offered a better future. But when they bring us here, we experience all manner of atrocities. Our women were raped. Our men were raped. We were murdered. We were beaten. We had our legs and limbs amputated. Our sex organ was cut off. They castrated us like dogs who didn't want to multiply. People, lest you forget, let me remind you. They had a thing that they call buck breaking. When they take one Israelite man and they make him have sex with another Israelite man to break him and to humiliate them. They had something that they call motherfuckers, where they put the bag over a son's head and allow him to sleep, have sex with his mother, unknowing who he is actually having sex with. And then they shame that son by calling him a motherfucker. Today, the African Americans shame their parents every time they use that word. People, lest you forget, are you going to be obedient to the Most High? The cause is broken. The judgment has started. The sentence will be dished out. A lot of people is waiting for the Most High to come to do what He have given us, the power, the authority, and the wisdom to do for ourselves. Never did. Like a parent, after you would have taught your children how to wash the ways in the kitchen, you don't go and wash it for your child. After you taught your child how to tie his shoes, you don't bend down and tie the shoe lace for your child. When you teach your child how to use the toilet, you don't take him to the toilet and put him on a potty. When you teach a child how to read, you give him a book and you send him to develop his reading skills. The Most High is not going to do for us what He gave us, the power, the wisdom, and the authority to do for Himself, to do for ourselves. He put it in the prophecy. Right? He put it in the prophecy. Like He did to Gideon and the Midianites, He have given us the power to do this for ourselves. Like He did for Samson. One man fight against the Philistine army. Like He did to Abraham when Abraham destroyed the 5 kings of Elam. Like He did to Simeon and Levi when they go into the city of Shemek and destroy everyone. The Most High is going to give us the power to take vengeance upon those who have oppressed and exploited us. He says in Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15, as you have done, so it shall be done to you. Your reprisal shall return on your own head. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? Are you expecting, or are you expecting the Most High to come and do for you what He have given you the power and the authority to do for yourself? People, lest you forget, lest you forget, in 1907 in the United States, They passed the Jim Crow law in the southern states. And they oppress and they exploit the Israelites. In 1865, the KKK was formed. And they had the sanction of the entire white community. And those police services that has already been established. And they went out, they terrorized the black community. And you know what they did? They murdered them by hanging and burning them, as they did in the Dark Ages. People, lest you forget, let me remind you, because the Most High is not going to allow you to enter Israel unless you play a part in the fulfillment of this prophecy. Obadiah chapter 15, Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15. As you have done, so it shall be done to you. Your reprisal shall be on your own head. That is what the Most High is saying to the Edomites. Lest you forget, in 1932 to 1972, they had the Tuskegee Experiment, where they inflicted syphilis intentionally injected the syphilis virus into Israelites, men and women, and watched them die, watched them waste away. From 1932 to 1972. People, between May 31st and June 1st, 1921, the black city that is called Black Wall Street, one of the most prosperous cities in the United States, out of jealousy and hatred for the Israelites, they went there under the auspices of the law and state and destroyed that entire city. 35 square blocks of black business, black living, black entrepreneurship. They destroy everything. They flatten the city. All of those buildings were insured, yet the insurance company never honor an insurance claim. Lest you forget. Lest you forget, the question is, the curse has been broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? So lest you forget what the Most High is calling us to do, I am here to remind you. As early just yesterday, 1985, marked the beginning of the crack epidemic in the United States. An epidemic that was man-made, like the coronavirus, like the AIDS virus, where the United States federal government used federal monies to import crack cocaine and put it in the black communities all over the United States, and they export it to other black countries. It was an act of hate. People, lest you forget that they have been throwing the black men and women into prison for literally minor offenses, for lengthy jail terms. Lest you forget that the law enforcement authorities has been fabricating cases against black men and women with no evidence. Some of these were make-up stories, and it caused them to be incarcerated for many years. Lest you forget that in many cities in the United States, black children had to father and mother themselves. That is why there are so much dysfunctional black men and women walking around all over the United States. Lest you forget, People were discussing, the curse has been broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? And we are focusing on the prophecy in Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15. Holy Love, welcome. Lest you forget, people, I'm here to remind you of your obligation and responsibilities. As I tell you before, if you are waiting to for Yahweh to come with a mighty throne to do what he has given you the authority and the power to do, you are waiting in vain. Lest you forget. People, the atrocities goes on and on and on against the Israelites at the hands of the Edomites. If you think that the Edomites are your friends, listen to this. For almost 300 plus years, they enslaved our foreparents with chattel slavery. Chattel slavery. Our foreparents went through more than 340 years of chattel slavery. Never rebuild all of Edom empire with our blood, our sweats, our tears. They make billions of dollars off of us. Never one day they felt the compassion or the sorrow for their foreparents and says, you know what? We have been living pretty well for almost 400 years, and it is because of the labor of the Israelites. Let us compensate them for their injuries. No, never had they been compensated. People, 2021 is going to pass out quietly. 2021 marked 100 years since the Edomite destroy Black Wall Street, Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. 35 square blocks of black businesses, homes, entrepreneurship, and social gathering areas. 100 years, nobody mentioned anything about it. People, these people from Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, their insurance policies were never honored. The federal government have never seen it fit to restore them to their former position because it was a travesty. It was one of the greatest violations of human rights ever. They don't, people, lest you forget, I'm here to remind you. The victims and the children and grandchildren of the Tuskegee Experiment are still reeling from the effects of what happens to their foreparents, yet they have never seen it fit to compensate them for their injuries. People, listen carefully. Listen carefully. In California and all over the United States, especially in California, there are hundreds of thousands of homeless people, all of them victims of the crack epidemic that the United States federal government has imposed upon them. They have many black lawyers associations in the United States. Yet not one of these many black lawyers association, state and countrywide association have ever seen it fit to bring a class action suit against the federal government on behalf of these people who are still reeling, who are dysfunctional because they never had the opportunity to be in a family with a mother and a father who loved them because their parents were in jail or on the streets addicted. The congressional records of the United States of America have confession and testimonies that this project was a project of the federal government. Yet, these people are homeless, dysfunctional. They can't even keep relationships. They don't know how to behave in public. Smokes on the train. Do weed and drugs in the train. In front of everybody because they're dysfunctional. For them, that is normal. People, lest you forget. Repatriation? No. The Edomites will never say sorry for what they have done. You look at everything that they did. They make it public, but they never say sorry. And they never show their sorrow by making the people or putting them back to where they were or giving them some compensation to show their sorrow. They will never do it. Let me tell you something. Between 1933 and 1945, for 12 years, the Nazi, white Germans, murder white so-called Jews, they were given compensation, and their families were given compensation for the 12 years of hardship and murder that their people went through. People, listen to this carefully. This thing happened between 1933 and 1945. Up to 2008, descendants of those people who were in the Holocaust could have filed a claim in the federal government up to 2008, proving that you are the descendants of those people and you'll get compensation, not for your injuries, for the injuries of your forefathers. 2008, people, the Israelites who have been oppressed in the crack epidemic, who have been unfairly cast into prison, no one ever think that they need compensation. Not even the Black Lawyers Guild of America, not even the Black Lawyers Guild of California. What happened? 1945. Those people had up until 2008 to file a claim for compensation for the suffering of their people. Listen to me, people. I know some of you like the Edomites more than you love your own brothers, you know. And some of you are willing, some of you have already forgiven the Edomites. But you and your offsprings will never be repatriated to Jerusalem. People, between 1942 and 1945, for 3 years, the American government, through Franklin D. Roosevelt, Executive Order 9066, instituted the Internment Camp, where they send Japanese Americans and Japanese citizens who were living in the United States into 3 states: Washington, California, and Oregon. Internment camps. For 3 years, they were treated nasty. Not as nasty as the Israelites were treated, but they were treated nasty. They were compensated. What happened? What happens to the people of the Tuskegee Experiment? What happened to the people of the Tuskegee Experiment? Why aren't they compensated? Why aren't their children and grandchildren compensated for what their parents went through? What happened? Tell me, people. You think the Edomites love you? If they love you, if they respected you, they would have do all in their power to make right the wrongs that they inflicted upon our people. They don't love you, they don't respect you, they don't just say sorry. They say, get over it. Get over it. They don't say sorry, they say, get over it. Listen to me, people. When their people are burdened down with stresses and frustration, they say they are depressed. When the Israelites have the same problem, they say we are lazy. You understand? You have to remember that modern medicine, especially in the United States, came on the backs of Israelite men and women, where they carried out experiments, do surgical procedure upon our brothers and sisters without giving them anesthetic. They had to bear the pain when they were experimenting. You have to remember that in slavery, they will hang up a black pregnant woman, stick a knife in her stomach and drag it down and let that unborn child fall out on the ground to inflict fear in the other slaves so that they would behave themselves. You have to remember that your foreparents were beaten to death on a slave pole in order to strike fear in the other slaves so that they will be obedient and work hard, so that they will not run away. You have to remember that your foreparents could not look at a book. It was a reason to be flogged. To look in a book was a reason to die. People, lest you forget, let me remind you, remember we're discussing. The curse has been broken. Are you going to be obedient to the Most High? And we are paying close attention to Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15. That says, as you have done, it shall be done to you. Your reprisal shall be on your own head. Speaking about the Edomites. People, lest you forget. I know some of you thinks that the Edomite women are more attractive than the Israelite women. But that is because they use their psychic and the demonic forces and telepathically communicate messages to you that you don't understand. So you find them attractive. That is why I know some of you prefer to be friends with the Edomites than with your own people. That is because they have telepathically communicated messages to you that put you in suspicion of your own brother. These are all demonic forces that was given to them by their father Lucifer. And some of you are willing to die for the Edomites. That is because they have communicated with you telepathically and tell you that your fears are unrealistic. Your hatred for them is unrealistic. I know some of you will do anything for the Edomites. But remember in Deuteronomy, in order for the Israelites to have occupied the promised land when they came out of Egypt, they had to fight to take the land. The Most High could have wiped out everyone, but He wanted them to put a value on that which they have obtained. They had to fight to get the land to go into the promised land. People, you are not going to occupy Jerusalem until You are ready and willing to be the reprisaler, to ensure that Edom get their share. You will never be able to go in. Let me tell you. Obadiah chapter 1:18 says that Esau is going to be destroyed at your hands. If you are not ready to stay in your hands on the Most High instruction, you will never see the Most High face as Redeemer, and you will never enter the promised land. Right? You'll never. Go down to Obadiah chapter 1 verse 20. And the captive of the host of the children of Israel shall possess the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan is what the Most High gave, promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and what Moses and Joshua led the children of Israel into inhabiting. And the captive of this host of children of Israelites shall possess the land of Canaan. You understand? We are going back there to possess it. But first we have to rid the land of the Edomites. Why? Because the Most High says so. You understand? Don't forget, don't forget. Abraham was willing to kill his only son, who was innocent, who he loved and who loved him, just to please the Most High. Abraham was willing to kill his only son, who he loved dearly, who loved his father dearly, just to please the Most High. He didn't do anything worthy of that, but the Most High said, kill him. Abraham was willing to do it. Don't forget, it was the Levi who went through all of Israel and destroyed all of the Israelites who refused to adhere to the Most High's will. That is why they were given the title of priests. People, apart from the destruction of the Israelites, we'll have to get some of the, apart from the destruction of the Edomites, we'll have to get some of the Israelites out of the way, because they will be an hindrance to the faithful of the Most High, satisfying the requirements of the Most High. People, listen to me. Nobody else ain't going to talk these things. There are few people who will speak these things publicly. You'll find Christendom. Christendom is too dumb to understand the things of the Most High. Do you think they are named Christendom for a reason? It was not by chance they were named Christendom for a reason. Because they were dumbed down by the Edomites, who give them their religion, who make them passive, who tell them that you must not resist your enemies. And if your enemy slap you on one cheek, turn to him the other. If your enemies sue you for your cloak, give him your coat also. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Because they were trying to dumb us down. That is why the religion that they created is called Christendom. Because it is made up of a large quantity of dumb Israelites who refuse to search the scriptures for themselves, who refuse to honor the Most High, and who refuse to obedient to the Most High when truth comes to them. People, are you waiting for the Most High to do for you what He have instructed you to do for yourself? Are you waiting for the Most High to come and fight your battles, that He gives you the ability to fight for yourself. Don't forget, Samson calls to the call to the Lord of hosts. He said, Most High, give me back my strength so I can take vengeance on my enemies for my two eyes. The Most High gave him back his strength. Samson took his vengeance. People, you can't love your enemy or you will be enslaved. You can't love your enemy or you will be enslaved. Remember, the curse has been broken. 2018 marked the end of the slavery of the Israelites in this new world. A slavery that began in earnest with the transatlantic slave trade in 1518. People, are you ready to be obedient to the Most High? Are you willing to exact upon those who have exacted upon you and upon your foreparents? Because the Most High said that. My people, my name is Adam Palmerson. We're going to this favorite the Most Hated Son, all great supremants of the Most High. As I come to your people here, if I would have caused any confusion among those who were listening, I ask, Father, that your Holy Spirit will go with my words and lend clarity where I would have lent confusion. Help them, Father, to understand that the curse has been lifted. It is a time for rejoicing. And we are supposed to be ready, willing to execute that which you have put in the prophecy for us to do. Obedience to you is all that you honor. In Yahshua's name I say, let it be done. My brothers and sisters, I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for hanging in there with me. And I hope that you are willing and ready to be obedient to the Most High. The Most High has no hands but your hands. We have to do what you have given us. The power, the wisdom, the authority, and the instruction to get done. Listen to the manual. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Get on your knees, I'm begging you please. Get on your knees, I'm begging you please. With that He increase our faith and endurance. Pray for His protection and also His guidance. With that He gives to us life and strength for